After back-to-back losses, compliments of the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Canadiens have seen enough, and so did I. Marty St. Louis just started cutting everyone yesterday. He was running around like Edward Scissorhands. And while I completely agree with about 95% of the cuts, there's a couple of guys that I feel earned at least one more game. At least one more. And hey, there's also a few guys that are still kicking around that might actually surprise you. So we got a lot to talk about today. We're just going to go ahead and dive right into the septic tank head first. So here's a list of players that were cut before last night's game against the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm going to go ahead and mention the most notable names. Jared Davidson, Dude Where's Me Jar, Jan Mysak, Joshua Wawa, Xavier Semino, Jaden Struble, and of course, Owen Bick, who was sent back to the Peterborough Petes. And take this however you want. It's probably going to be a bit of a hot take, but in my opinion, sending Owen Bick back to the OHL was an easier decision this year than it was last year. And that's not a knock on him. I honestly feel like Owen Bick is going to be an effective NHLer one day, but listen, my memory is great, okay? I can remember a fly's face from 6 years ago. And Owen Bick was way more noticeable at camp last year than this year. End of story. But you want to know who was noticeable at this year's camp? Jared Davidson and Joshua Wawa. These guys were standouts, so if I'm going to nitpick about any of the cuts on this particular list, I gotta say, I'm kind of surprised that they got cut so early. I figured two of these guys would have been kicking around right till the end, or at least given one more opportunity to play. Even Joe Biden was disappointed when he saw the tweet that Wawa's been sent down. Come on. But as for everybody else on this list, yeah, I kinda seen it coming. So that was the first round of cuts from yesterday. Well, then what happened? They go out and ice like, I don't know, 80% of their actual NHL roster against a bunch of random Maple Leafs. And what did they do? They lost! Yes, it was embarrassing. Yes, it was only a preseason game, which is not really an excuse. Look, I don't care if it was a game of road hockey. There was zero excuses for losing that game. They just had no finish. Watching Alex Burrows run a power play is like watching Yao Ming navigate a cross base. It's a struggle. They're going to have to find someone else. And right after the game, the Canadiens announced a second set of roster cuts, and this time, it was Popcorn, their 2023 5th overall pick, who's going back to Switzerland, while Jacob Dobish, Riley Kidney, Sean Farrell, and William Trudeau will all join Team Rocket. Now, I know the big dog on this list is obviously David Reinbacher, the guy's been under a microscope since his arrival. But overall, for an 18-year-old kid playing his first games in the NHL, I gotta say, I was impressed. He wasn't electric, but at the same time, he didn't look out of place at all, in my opinion, which is, it's a win. So, with only 2 preseason games remaining, who do we got? Logan Mailloux is still standing, which is pretty impressive. Obviously, the coaching staff likes his game, and so do I. Emil Heineman is still standing. And Matthias Norlinder is still standing as well, which is probably the biggest shock at this point, because I don't think anyone really expected him to be battling for a roster spot. So let me know in the comment section if you feel like one of these guys are going to make the team, maybe someone replaces Justin Barron, or maybe someone's just going to be kicking around until Mike Matheson is ready to play again. I want to hear all about it. And oh yeah, how did you feel about Wawa and Davidson being cut early? Was it too soon? Don't forget to high stick the like button on the way out of here. And hey, wow, see you next time.